Hi, here I show you how to draw some feathers around an owl eye. This is an insight into one of my drawing lessons in my online membership Animal Art Club. You can find more infos in the link below in the description. And now let's start drawing.
Okay, let's take either the black charcoal again or your black pastel pencil, and let's plot in the darkest areas the blacks with a deep dark black, or use the Rembrandt charcoal, the Rembrandt soft pastel stick, and draw here over the outlines. When you have lighter outlines like I have, maybe you have to press a bit more that your black covers these white or lighter creamy outlines, because I've pressed really harder with the graphite pencil on transferring. They are a bit, how would I say, more difficult to overdraw, but not really a lot difficult. So when you just go over with the blacks, more often they disappear. Also plot in here the black in the dark eye corners. We have a black area here above the highlight area, below the feathers, the eyebrow feathers. There is really deep dark black. Just have a look, where do you see black on the reference photo? Here on the right, it's a bit of a thinner black stripe. And here in the inner eye corner there it's really dark, deep black. Here on the left side of the eye, plot in the black everywhere where you see the dark, deep blacks. Then take the paper stamp and blend it, that your paper does not shine through, that you don't have any gritty dots here between your base layer, the black pigment. Make it really smooth. Also here above, let's blend the black. Okay. And then let's take a white and mark here the lightest highlights with the white. Here we have some so little clouds on the sky that we see. Yes, and then let's take orange 109 dark chrome yellow again and plot in the colors on the iris. Let's plot in here this lighter orange below, along the lower edge here, and here on the right side in the middle. I move sometimes so upwards and downwards, and plot in here this lighter orange. Then take orange glaze, the more brilliant orange 113, and plot that in here around on the rest part of the pupil. Iris, sorry, on the rest part of the iris, on the colorful eyeball. And then let's take a paper stamp and blend this. So blend over the darker orange carefully and a bit around our pupil. When there is too much pigment, when there is loose pastel pigment on the paper, I blow it away. I have here really more pigment on it. Blend carefully over the lighter yellow. Okay, then let's darken down everything. Let's take also a bit of sanguine 188 and plot that in here above on the left side a bit, and I also plot it in here on the right edge, bringing a bit the orange swipe over on the left side downwards, and I also plotted in a bit here on the right below the highlight. We need all different colors. more layers to draw here. Blend the orange a bit, the sanguine a bit with the paper stamp. Then let's take our Vista 179 and let's bring in this brown, this ochre brown around the pupil. This eye on the left is not so much in the shadow like this eye on the right, so let's draw this a little bit more in the brilliant orange colors, but we have this darker circle around the pupil here with the brown. So let's bring in here the Vista around the pupil. Let's do another layer here above. It can be then darker. Here we need then also black and dark browns. Draw so teeny tiny lines here. And maybe also here a bit of the Vista and in the right corner here a bit. Let's also take the raw amber 280 again. Here bringing a bit of raw amber and darken down this upper shadow part with raw amber, and also the edge here on the right side. Also here above it can be darker. Plot in the raw amber, and I add also some raw amber strokes here below. Some can be a little bit longer. Okay, then let's also take the black 199 and I draw this black here above a little bit more rightwards and go again over my black edge here, eye corner, and darken down here above below the eyebrow section, the iris here with the black. Here above it really can be darker. Here we have the shadow below the eyelid. Plot in here the black, go over again and take the paper stamp and blend this then carefully, so downwards. Blend it together with the orange. We can also go in here with a brown 177 with the walnut brown here above, and plot in here above a bit more of the brown also on the right side, and blend this carefully downwards. I swipe also with the walnut brown a little bit upwards and downwards, and add here some so teeny tiny strokes on the left, and blend over this carefully. Blend the brown color into the iris. Blend over it with very little pressure. Then let's take also so the 113 again, the orange glaze. I draw here over, or blend carefully over the edge here on the right side. Also go over once more here on the left a bit with the orange glaze. Swipe over, add a very transparent layer, and let's also add some very thin orange strokes between that stripe, or use orange glaze for blending this ochre stripe a bit. Add some strokes between, or swipe over and make this even a bit softer. Add here a bit of an orange line upwards. Just use orange also for blending, going over the lines, make them more transparent, more softer. Then let's also take 109 with the sharp point again. 109 the dark chrome yellow. And let's add with very little pressure this line around our pupil. So here really the key is a light hand. Don't use too much pressure. And draw around the pupil very gently with this sharp yellow pencil and add this line around. We can also then go in here once more, brighten up this yellow stripe, add some fine teeny tiny little lines again towards the pupil here. Very thin little details. Okay. I also add here on the right a line, a little bit more brilliant line with the yellow. Some more brilliant highlights. Press a bit more for brightening up this part here. Plotting in a bit more yellow. We could also add here some so teeny tiny dots on the left and a little bit more highlights if you would like. Okay, then let's draw the highlight area. Let's take the dark blue 157 and plot that in here on this left highlight area and here around the highlights we have here, the white dots. Plot in here a bit of the dark blue and blend this with a paper stamp. So I blend here over the highlight area with the paper stamp here above. Mix that a bit. Then let's also go in with the blue 140, the light blue, ultramarine light blue, and blot in here a bit of the light blue. Also here, bring in a bit of the light blue. Let's then also take 230, the cold gray one, and brighten up the lower part of the highlight here and add some clouds. We have also here a bit of a reflection, so I move very gently this gray, so forwards, backwards, and add here a little dot. And then we also have here on the right some reflections of some clouds. Here above, let's add a stroke very gently. Here, swipe over in circles very gently and add a bit of the gray between some clouds and some little highlights. Let's then also go in with black and add some darks. I sharpen the black. And let's go in and add maybe here above a little dark dot or so from the upper shadow part of a little bit so dark stains downwards. Here a bit of a pupil shadow upwards. Yes, and then I draw along this upper shadow part once more a bit with the black and darken down everything. We can bring a little bit black upwards here where the pupil is with little pressure. Go over the pupil once more. Go over the left inner eye corner here. And also draw with very little pressure here a black line below the iris. Move the pencil forwards and backwards and add a very thin black line below. We can then draw another lower eyelid with the dark blue below that thin black line. So let's take 157 and draw this lower eyelid here below, a very thin 1 millimeter thin line. So I also move here the pencil so forwards and backwards And then go in with the paper stamp and blend this carefully. Swipe over here carefully, not too much that you don't make this line too broad. Let's then take the black again and draw a fine black line also below. Move the black so forwards and backwards and just darken down the lower part here. And then let's take our cold gray 1, this light gray with a sharp point, and draw again here. Let's have a look. We have here some highlights in the inner eye corner. Plot them in with the light gray. Here some lines. Then we have here, we could also do it with the warm gray, but let's do these highlights, highlights with the cold gray, because we have this a little bit also bluish underpainting, and bring in some little dots here below, little strokes. More dots here in this case, and here a bit of a light reflection line in the inner eyelid area here. Okay, you can press a bit more for more details here. Okay, and then I think this eye looks nice so far. Let's then draw the feathers around. Let's go in also with the white for this eyebrow area and plot in above here with white, so from the left to the right in feather direction, the white. And then take ivory and let's plot that in, so here in the middle area a bit here, so upwards where these feathers are, on the forehead. Plot in here ivory, and then also so here, so downwards I would say here. Let's do this part also right away towards the beak. This beak we could then draw next, bringing in here a base layer of ivory, so downwards. Here the feathers are so little triangles or are going together to so bunches of feather hairs, I would say. And here then really have a good look at the reference photo, in what direction they are going, and plot in ivory here below the eye as a base layer where these fine teeny tiny thin feathers are. And yes, and let's plot in the black here between, above the eye. Here it's dark, and here between. Be careful, blend a little bit black here between the ivory, and then it's going upwards to this ear area here, the black. Plot in a bit of black here between. Let's also bring in a bit so black downwards, rightwards here below. Okay, then let's take a paper stamp. I blend now first with the part with the black pigment on the paper stamp over the black. I like to use one side for the darker colors and the other side for the lighter colors. So I blend the black here with the darker part, and then I use the other end here for blending first. So I have again this yellow pigment on the paper stamp, but here above it is a bit yellowish on reference photo, so that's totally fine. When we blend the base layer a little bit with the yellow, and then the more we are coming downwards, this pigment on the paper stamp is gone, and we can then blend only the ivory, so I does not really break my head a lot about that I have brought in a bit of the pigment. It's just so I can take it, it's useful. If I would have made that by accident, Then I go over once more with another layer with ivory and just add a more ivory pigment, and then it's fine. Blend also over the white here and over the ivory below the eye. Okay, and then let's start building up the feathers a bit. So let's take ivory and let's draw here some feather parts. So some lines over the same place or some broader strokes. And let's build up these single feathers we have here above the eye here. On the left side, let's also draw here some short lines upwards, and then here, following the growth of the feathers, downwards, rightwards, I press here a bit more and draw with ivory some of these feathers. We can also do it with the white. Let's take the white that they are showing up better and draw them with white here. I'll draw over them and mix ivory and white a bit here. Draw some white strokes downwards. They can be a bit broader. You can also press here a bit more and draw some thicker strokes downwards. These are the smaller feathers. And then here we see these feathers better than on the left side of the beak. Here they are really the feathers with all these fine fluffy feather hairs. Then let's first draw some white lines leftwards and downwards. Bring in some white lines, and here then are the single feathers. These triangles that we have already sketched in. Let's take the paper stamp and blend this a bit, swipe gently over with hardly any pressure. And then let's take the black and draw these black middle lines in the feathers. So here one, here one, here one. There are these black strokes in the middle of the feathers, and then these fine details on the left and on the right, the feather parts. Let's draw in here some strokes, and then here it's a bit darker behind. Bring in some of these black lines here, so upwards. And here where we have the left side here near the eye, there draw more short lines in there, and here and there little dots. Have a good look at the reference photo and just try what you see there. Here little strokes that make a bow to the right. Here they are a bit longer. To bring in here these details we see on the reference photo to these feathers. Here some smaller black strokes here above. We also have to bring in the black between the feather details here. Bringing in here the black. Then also here is a black contrast area on the left of these overlapping feathers. Then also where we have these lighter eyebrow feather section, here below we have the eyelid. Bring here a black line in above, and then let's draw some short black lines leftwards. Some are going a bit upwards. And then we also have here so details below. Let's bring in some so thin black lines downwards, rightwards here. So 2 or 3 millimeters, not longer. So then let's take the light gray 270, the light gray one. Or bring in here some so fine light gray one lines over the black. But take first 273, the warm gray 4. Here it is, 273 warm gray 4. And add here above the eye a bit of the gray line where we have the upper eyelid. And then we take the black. So I have already added here a black line. Then I add some so teeny tiny little black strokes upwards and downwards on this upper eyelid. And again some black lines here above. Let's darken down this black area, these black feathers area here with the charcoal or with your pastel pencil. Also here you can bring in some black lines downwards, rightwards. Okay. Then let's take the gray. Let's take 273, the gray, and even draw here above some so gray lines rightwards on this lighter white area here, the eyebrow feathers. And then let's also bring in here in these feathers a bit of the gray in. Here below the eye, this can also be a bit more grayish. Let's draw a bit of gray, so downwards. And then we bring in here with a sharp white. I'm going to sharpen the white, so with a sharp white. Let's bring in here below the eye so teeny tiny white feathers. Here downwards, rightwards, short strokes that we bring in here, then some teeny tiny fine lines here downwards. You can draw them here so downwards, and then other ones that are more going a bit leftwards and crossing. The others are then going again rightwards. So here we see really so detailed feathers that are crossing and overlapping. Let's also draw here above on the eyebrow with the white, some feather hairs, I would say, downwards. And some more here above the eyelid with a bit more pressure. Here some fine feather hairs can overlap the black. Also let's draw here some fine lines. Okay, and to refine that section here with the fine feather details, I would say we draw first the beak and then draw all these fine details.
So I hope you liked this insight into this drawing lesson. The whole tutorial is a part of Animal Art Club, my online drawing school. If you would like to join, see the link below in the description. And then I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. Have a great time!